The latest Nintendo Direct just brought us a whole bag of goodies, including some major studio projects, future indie hits, and even some fun-looking DLC along the way. We're going to dive into it.
And we've got word that a new PlayStation console might not be that far off. We're going to talk about all this stuff and so much more right now on Gaming News Weekly. What's up, everybody? It's time for another episode of Gaming News Weekly, the best weekly video game news show out there. Every single Monday, we're bringing you all the biggest things happening in the video game industry. You can find us on YouTube, Fruit Lab, and podcast services everywhere. As always, I am joined by this man right here, full clip. What is going on, dude? How are you?
What's good? You know, they doubted us. They said we weren't coming back. They said we disappeared without a warning.
Who said that? Who said that? Give me names. I want names.
The haters. The haters. You know how they are. No, we're good. We're good. So let's see. We had a planned break last week, so no show. Unfortunately, the week before that, the issue we had, technical problems. Yeah. Let's just skip it. Let's just not talk about that. But we inadvertently
missed a good
week.
show. It was a good show. We recorded the whole thing, and it messed up. It was one of my favorite shows ever. It's a lost episode, we call it. But now, then we had to take a week off to recuperate from that.
And unfortunately, I don't remember one show to the next, so I don't remember what the hell we talked about that show.
No,
even though it was a good one, I remember.
Yeah.
But I know one thing that we did talk about was one of the new games that we both played, which was Creatures of Ava, and we gave a little rundown. So I don't really think we have to go back over it completely, but I will just say that over this past week, I've had some time off, and I jumped back in there, and I played to about 33% of the progress, story-wise, when you save the game and it tells you your percentage. It gets harder when you get over to, like, the jungle side of things. I don't know how to tame the beasts. Really? In the first area, when you go up against, like, the new creatures, they always sing their little song, and they've got like the notes that you need to hit. It's very, very easy. In this one, I still don't know how to tame the beasts, and I don't know if I'm just supposed to be progressing story-wise before it tells me, or if there's some mechanic I'm just missing and need to figure that out on my own.
Yeah, I don't know. We haven't gotten back into it. My son, he's addicted to Minecraft. I'll just say that. So it's like, if it's not Minecraft, we're not doing much. But yeah, I keep wanting him to, but I know if I play it without him, he's going to be like, why did you do that? Cause we're like, we're doing it together. It's a whole thing. But, cause he even restarted it on, Game Pass. We were playing it, on PC, and then he wanted to play it on the Xbox cause it's easier for him. So he started it on there. So I was like, go play this game. And he's like, nope, it's all about Minecraft, baby. But, I'm interested now. Because it was very simple. Early on. So I want to see if, let's see if a 6-year-old can figure it out before Full Clip does. This is a new game we play here on Gaming News Weekly. Are you smarter than
me? It's not fair.
I also got him that, the Mika and the Witch's Mountain. Did you get a chance to check that out at all?
Yeah, I actually did. So I want to thank you again for the review copy that you're able to send my way. We tried it out, playing it on the Switch. I think it's also available on PC through Steam.
Yeah.
My wife was not a big fan. She said, this is a game somebody made at their house or something along those lines. And then I played it. I'm like, this isn't that bad. I mean,
no.
It feels like playing a PlayStation 2 game or something. Not graphically, but mechanically.
Yeah, it's harder than I like. The flying mechanic is not as fun as I would want. Like, the whole game is about flying through these worlds, and I want it to be more fun, especially like the times when you have to so basically the premise is, for those who aren't familiar with Mika and the Witch's Mountain, you're like a witch delivery service, and you have to deliver packages. It's a very, very cozy game. And you have to deliver packages, and the packages can't get broken, they can't get wet, that sort of thing. And when you're flying with these packages over large stretches of water, you're like dipping into the water, and it's very hard to like avoid that. So you got to look for better paths and air that shoots up. So yeah, I thought it would be a little bit more enjoyable. That it's a little bit more stressful than I had thought getting the packages there safely. But yeah, this was the game that my son, when we went on our vacation, we just had like a vacation house. We played a lot of video games, and this was the one that he played on his Switch. And there were definitely times where I had to, he needed help and that sort of thing. But he really liked it. So he's just, maybe not only is he smarter than Full Clip, but his more refined palate, You're just like, this is a game that someone made in their garage. And he's like, Johnny, this is the best game ever. No, he doesn't love it that much, but he enjoyed his time with it. He liked getting the upgrades and that sort of thing. So, but he definitely had trouble with the flying mechanic. And I do agree that if you're making a game about flying on a broom, make it a little bit more enjoyable. That's all I got to say.
Yeah, it's a little misleading from the trailer. You'd think you'd just be able to fly around, but I noticed like you're kind of always like sinking. So you need to get out there to the boat where the guy is, where you're delivering his lunch or something. You got to like go up onto a rooftop and make sure that you're going to have that distance. That is kind of fun from a puzzle perspective.
Sure.
But it's also not, it doesn't seem like what was advertised exactly. And maybe there's something else later in the game where you get a little more free range and this is all just tutorial.
Yeah. There's upgrade. You could do upgrades to your broom and that sort of thing. So I think it does get a little bit more enjoyable to be able to cruise around this world. But yeah, there's a game called Mail Time, and it's very similar, very cozy game where you're like this little tiny thing and you have to deliver mail around like this gnomish forest world. And that we played, and that one is very similar. That one is a little bit more simple, a little bit more easy. It's more about like the storytelling. You meet Mr. Frog and this sort of thing. But yeah, we're gonna keep playing the Mika game, and we'll see how it goes. But yeah, I do think it'll get, as you open up more upgrades and stuff, it might get a little easier. I don't know.
Yeah, I got one more game that I jumped into this past week. Jump back into, I should say. Yep, Baldur's Gate 3. It's becoming the new Sunday night game time with my buddy. So the guy I used to play like Hell Let Loose with and stuff like that. We're jumping over into Baldur's Gate 3. This time it's my meme run. Because the first time I tried to take it serious, I had my half-orc, and he had like the blue eye, the red eye, because his two parts are tearing himself. This time I'm like a halfling barbarian. I stole Lazelle's leather strap underwear, and that's the only thing I'm wearing around in the world.
Oh, amazing. Are you streaming any of this, dude? Are you recording any of this?
No, I don't think that'd be allowed to stream. Yeah, my buddy, well, he walked away for a bathroom break, and that's when I realized that, like, Lazelle is following me. I can steal her stuff. I didn't have much to put back on her, so we get to the next cutscene, and it's like, so it's my halfling barbarian bearing it all in the leather straps, and he's like, bro, what the F? And then it goes over to Lazelle, who now doesn't have a shirt on and has the frog skin nips and everything, and he's like, bro, what the hell?
Oh man, this is how that game was intended to be played, I think. Yeah, with barbarians in tiny underpants and frog skin nips. That's great though. So you guys are playing. How's the co-op? You enjoy it? I did it once, and I thought it was better than I expected it to be.
It's enjoyable. I like the way that it sort of breaks down the responsibility. If I have one of the followers, they have another, and I understand you can change that. I haven't figured that out yet, though.
Yeah.
And you can trade things back and forth as you go, so you can sort of strategize with your other player doing co-op. And the one thing that I don't really like is my buddy kept getting into the dialogue, and it's not showing it at the same rate for us. So it's like skipping all of these dialogue scenes and not really even letting me get my chance to vote or select anything. So that was the one downside, is that I'm missing a lot of the story, even though I've seen it before.
Yeah, and it is better on, like, because we did it on a second playthrough where it was like, we weren't super, one of us, would do trigger the dialogue to do the mission or whatever, and the other one would just kind of hang out. So, yeah, that makes me really want to get back into there. I've been wanting to for a while, and it's just been so much other stuff that I've been playing. So, yeah, that's that's a great idea. I should get in there and I'll join you with your weird underpants outfit.
Oh yeah,
we'll all wear underpants outfits. That's what we'll do. You get a chance to check out the Black Ops 6 beta at all?
I have not. I've not jumped into it.
So I did that this weekend. I played it a couple hours, maybe 3-4 hours, just to get a taste. And it's more Call of Duty, except with more bodies flying everywhere, dude. They got this omnidirectional whatever, like diving. So it's just you got people diving on their backs because you could go on your back and shoot and stuff like that. I don't know if it's helping them at all because the whole time I'm just shooting people as they're falling. And I was like, I don't know if this was what you intended, to die while you were falling, but that's all it is. But the gameplay, it feels pretty much the same as Modern Warfare 3. I'm doing like much better than I normally do. And I think that because I always do better at hardcore than I do in the regular. And I think now I'm just doing regular, and I think the time to kill is a little bit different. It might be a little quicker, which benefits me. Like when I'm playing on, I'm just playing controller, so it does that. You get the auto aim assist with controller, so then it's like a few shots and they're dead. So I don't got to worry about the diving and the jumping and the ducking and stuff like that. I feel like that benefits me as a console player. But the maps have been cool. But otherwise, it's really, I don't know. It feels like more of just the same. Like I was playing some Modern Warfare 3 with the past few weeks, and honestly, like I don't know. They don't feel too different. So
yeah, and honestly, for a Call of Duty title, to some degree, that's what you want, right? Because it is a competitive multiplayer first-person shooter. You want it to be more of the same, even though, I mean, it kind of sucks that if it feels too much the same, because why isn't it a DLC pack for last year's game if it's going to be that simple?
Yeah.
But I've been seeing a lot of TikToks about this omnidirectional system, people trying to figure it out. They said the old heads are retiring over it. I don't know.
Yeah. I don't know. It just seems, and I could see it getting to a point where like people can perfect it like they could, like, previously, like jumping and sliding and that sort of thing. Animation cancels and stuff like that to try to like make it work out the best for them. Right now, I don't think it's, sometimes it looks cool. You can see like people diving off of a building to get a shot and stuff like that, and that looks cool. I like to see those clips, but when I'm in the game, I don't know. It doesn't seem like it's a game changer for me, which is kind of a bummer too, because this is the only real thing that they added to the game. It's all more of the same loadouts, same guns, same everything. And then they're like, yeah, but this time we got this omnidirectional thing. And then I'm like, okay, this is going to be a game changer, like what was the one, it was a Black Ops game, I think, where it was like kind of futuristic and you had like that jetpack and you could like slide around like in different directions.
Infinite Warfare was the one I think that had like...
Maybe that's what it was.
Yeah, the jetpack back and forth slide.
Yes. And I thought it was going to be like more aggressive like that, like omnidirectional like movement like that. But no, this is just like diving, but you could go forward, you go backwards, that sort of thing. So I don't know. It doesn't seem like a game changer to me. But yeah, otherwise it really is just more identical stuff. Like I don't know at what point they're gonna be like, okay, we need to just start from scratch, because even like as cool as I love hearing that sweet guitar riff when I level up, like it's stale. Like it's cool, it's there, but like it makes me feel like I'm just playing Call of Duty. I'm not playing Black Ops 6. I'm just playing Call of Duty. So yeah, but I'm enjoying it. I'm enjoying the maps. We'll see how it is when the tryhards start destroying me. That's when I'll put the game away. But what's nice about it is that being a Game Pass subscriber, I have access to it, and I'll be able to play it, and I don't have to worry about whether or not I wasted $70 this year, because that's what I've done previous iterations. I've been like, man, I really want to play like some Call of Duty multiplayer for a couple hours or whatever, and then I'll pay $70, and then I won't open it again for months, because I don't do the campaign. I don't do the zombies. I'm playing it by myself most of the time. So it's just I get in there, I play a couple multiplayer matches, and I'm done. So I really love that I could do that with Game Pass this year. Although, like, I need to buy a new hard drive for my Xbox to fit it. But
Oh yeah.
that's another story.
Yeah, and that's part of the reason that I'm holding out and didn't go in for the beta. I'm just going to wait for the full release. I will re-up my Game Pass subscription and get it like day one or, hopefully in the first week when it comes out. I'm not as hardcore on Call of Duty now as I used to be. There's just so little time, so much to play, but it is a beautiful thing that I'm not out $70. I'm out, $15 for PC Game Pass now?
Sure, yeah.
And if I don't like it, I don't have to pay for another month of it, period. And I have so much access to so much more, a big backlog of games. I'll go play Sea of Stars or something that I've been meaning to play for a while.
Exactly. Yeah. I almost I went in and I was like, I'm going to download Mafia. I wanted to do that. The Mafia Definitive Edition or whatever was on there. So I was like, this is perfect. And then I did something else. I don't remember what, but, yeah, it's worth checking out. We'll see. I'll probably play some more tonight. We'll see how it goes. All right, enough about video games. It's time to talk about video games. It's time for our new releases from last week. All right, first up, Gory Cuddly Carnage came out on August 29th on PC, PS4, PS5, Xbox One, XS, Nintendo Switch, basically every console. Came out on the Ouya. No, it didn't really do that. But this game is one that's, especially after it came out. So, okay, what it is, it's like this over-the-top action game. You play as a cat with a hoverboard that's sentient, and it has blades that you also use as a weapon, and you kill these kind of nightmare unicorn creatures. It looks insane. So I had high hopes for this, but I'm like, this game, it does not look like it's going to be good. But looking at the reviews, man, everybody's like, this is a fun game. It's a throwback to like the 2000s, like Lollipop Chainsaw and, that sort of thing where it's like over the top action. And it looks fun. It's only $20. I think it's on sale on Steam right now for like 17. And there was a couple times where I was like, I need to buy this game. I need something like this to refresh my palate. Something silly, something not too serious. Because when I went on a little sidetrack, when I went on vacation, I was trying to like what games do I want to play? I'm like, I got a week off from work. I got my Steam Deck. What do I want to start? I wanted to start something new, and I downloaded like 4 games, and just none of them were doing it for me. So I wish this had come out before that, because this would have been the one. Because it just looks fun. It's like platforming and this really fast like action combat, super bloody, super like insane looking. So yeah, it's at a 76 on Metacritic, so it's reviewing pretty well. So yeah, put it on your wish list.
Your description definitely did it justice. When I saw the trailer for this game, I thought, how in the world do we describe this? What type of game is this? But that's a good description. Sort of that hyper-violent, but also this cutesy-fies it, whatever the word would be, turns it into like colorful blood and stuff like that, colorful explosions, and not just realistic blood and gore.
This is what Stray should have been, right here.
Yeah.
All right, next up, Visions of Mana came out $8.29 on PC, PS4, PS5, and Xbox X and S. This is been about 20 years since the previous game in the series. It's a JRPG. It's got that real classic, JRPG vibe to it. They all kind of look the same. This one, it's not. A lot of them are that SNES style. This one's full, like, very colorful, beautiful 3D graphics, animation. It's got like an action. It's not a turn-based game. It's like an action combat system with like a whole bunch of classes that you can get, and then there's different variables within the class and these different elements. everything I've read about it, that it lives up to having the of mana title, as the previous ones have always been very big, like hits, fan favorites. Everybody loves them. So yeah, this one it seems like it's the fans are liking it. The critics are okay with it. This one's also at a 76 on Metacritic. So yeah, it's definitely if you're a fan of the JRPG, it's definitely worth checking out.
Sounds awesome. I hope that the developer of this game gets to live for a very long time and make more games.
Shut down! They've been shut down literally the day after the game came out. NetEase was the owner of the developer Uka Studios, and they pretty much laid off the entire staff the day after the game came out. Everybody's they're all like, woo, great game, yeah, let's drink, we're partying. Yeah, you don't have to come to work tomorrow because you've been laid off. Dude, insane. So this was reported by Bloomberg. The studio, they're being kept afloat right now with a couple key members of the staff just to finalize the release of this game that just came out the day before. So what they're saying that it's from is that Chinese companies like NetEase and Tencent are moving away from Japanese gaming. So that's basically it, is what they're saying. It's still, it doesn't make it okay. It's definitely like real shitty for them to do this, but that's just what it is. They're saying that now, more they're investing more domestically instead of outside of China, because for a while it was touch and go, like what could come out of China as far as content, entertainment, video games, movies, TV shows, and then you got Black Myth Wukong coming out and doing this thing. So they're like, all right, we could do this in our own country. So pretty much just shutting down everything outside the area. But yeah, crazy. I don't think we've ever seen something like that where the day after the game comes out, they're like, oh yeah, thanks for that. Also, you're fired.
Right, yeah. It's more of the same, but this is extra egregious. And it just, call me a conspiracy theorist here. What if developers start putting, coding in, a dead man switch into these games so that, if they don't upkeep the game after so long because they've been fired and removed, the game, shuts down completely. Dude, or something.
I would not be surprised with what we're seeing with games and what we own or don't own anymore, or the ability, we talk about Overwatch or, games like that where people have owned this game. You own a copy, there's a physical disc that just doesn't do anything anymore. So, it's not outside the realm of possibility,
Right. And I don't remember the company or the games specifically, but we talked about it a month or two ago. They were shut down, and they're like, we don't even know who's going to upkeep the storefronts for these games, because that's work that somebody has to do to keep them alive in the PlayStation Store, the Xbox Store, Steam.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so crazy stuff. Hopefully, everybody there can land on their feet, because they put out a great game, and it's so unfortunate that they can't even celebrate their achievement. They have to be out looking for a new job, So, shitty stuff from NetEase. But, as long as they put out Marvel Rivals soon and make it good, all is forgiven, NetEase. I only partially mean that. All right, next up, Star Wars Outlaws. Came out on August 30th on PC, PS5, Xbox X, and S. It's the first ever open world Star Wars game. It's set between Empire and Return of the Jedi, and it's about Kay Vess and her little thing Nix, and they're outlaws, and they're, just messing shit up out there doing their thing. Unfortunately, I know you and I were both we're thinking about this one. Maybe this is the one. Maybe this is the Star Wars game we play. Was it yours? Did you buy it? Are you playing it now?
I have not yet. I'm okay. Very on the fence. I've been looking at the Metacritic reviews and things like that, just trying to decide whether I should or not.
And it's crazy. This one, the reviews, man, I read so many reviews, and they're all over the place. It's really interesting, and I think a lot of it comes from, well, some of the bad reviews come from the initial game being buggy and having some kind of game breaking things. Since then, they've fixed those, the majority of those. One thing that really pissed a lot of people off is that to fix one of the pretty intense bugs, you had to restart your game. They were on, so people were pretty upset. They had a few hours into it. But anyways, that was one of the things I saw. A couple people just said that the gameplay was just meh. You know, you got this beautiful open world, which, you know, seems great and it's alive. I've heard that was one of the best parts, is that it's like you're in a Star Wars movie. But you know, the gameplay is majority stealth. So right there, that kind of put me off of it. I'm not a big stealth game guy. And that the combat itself was, when you do resort to that, it was kind of lacking, just because, you know, it's supposed to be stealth, and then the combat wasn't as big as they hoped. But the characters are cool, the story's cool, the world is cool. So it's still on. I'm keeping it on my wish list. I'm gonna wait for a sale, because I do want to check it out. It's at a 76 on Metacritic. Are they all 76 this time? Wow. Oh no, Gory was 78. Yeah, so it's funny how, like, just reviews, I mean, it's like 76 is a good score for most things, you know? But we're getting games now that are 9s and 10s, and they're huge 100-hour games, so it's like, where does this fit in that? You know, this is still a AAA game that's, you know, $70, and it's an open world game, but it's not amazing. So it's tough. It's tough. So.
You know, the whole open world thing kind of attracts me to this game, but then when you do, like, go through the cesspool of reviews, it's got like a 46% user rating right now on Metacritic. When you do go through these reviews and find the few people who are actually giving some legitimate seeming feedback, and they say, like, it appears open world, but it's a lot more linear than you would think, that's helpful. I think a lot of those user reviews is coming down to like a culture war thing. It's being review bombed to a degree, but they're getting smarter about it. Yeah. I mean, I read through some, and it's weird, and it's kind of funny on some of these, because some people just don't give a shit and they just say it straight out with a 0 score. Other people say, like, well, the graphics weren't that good and the storyline's not that good. 0 of 10. And I don't get that. Like, that doesn't seem like a legitimate
It's not
review.
a 0.
It's not a 0. That's
that's why I don't look at those numbers. I did see that, like, they're toying with the idea of having a verify that you actually own the game or whatever. For Metacritic, it's a cool idea. That's why I love Steam reviews. You can see how much time someone has put in there. Like, you see reviews and it's like 1,700 hours, and then it's got a negative review, and I'm like, huh? Like, I don't know. What do you?
You didn't get your $10 out of that game?
Yes. Yeah. So, dude, it's very interesting. Most of obviously with the 76 from the critics, most of the reviews are positive. So, I think it's tough, especially being a Star Wars game. Star Wars fans know what they want, and it's gotta be perfect. At the same time, you're offering them an open world in a Star Wars world that, like, you know, it's cool. Wouldn't you want to, like, go mess around in this world? And so I don't know, but I do want to check it out, and I hope that if you do get it, I'm excited to hear what you have to say about it. All right, and that is it for our new releases from this past week. Let's get into our news of the week. All right, first up, let's quick talk about the PlayStation Plus games coming out for September. They were announced, and on September 3rd, you can play Harry Potter Quidditch Champions, MLB The Show 24, and Little Nightmares 2. This is quite the coup here for PlayStation Plus, getting a day one game not only a day one game, a day one Harry Potter game, dude. Live your Quidditch fantasy. Take to the sky as one of the classic positions. Chaser, seeker, keeper, beater. And just do your thing. What do you think?
Oh, yeah. This is the game that I got in on the closed alpha
for right.
a while back, and I wasn't able to talk about it then, but I'm free now. Yeah, it's a lot like Rocket League for Harry Potter fans, and I think it changes the rules of Quidditch a little bit from the books and stuff, but that's just to make it more fun and playable, I would say. Yeah. I really don't know how much has changed since that early version that I was able to play. I haven't really looked a lot into like the trailers and stuff coming out to see if it looks like a lot of new features have been added and things like that. But it seems like a successful formula. As long as they keep coming out with some new like skins and things like that. Now Harry Potter's in green robes. Now you can be Voldemort.
Yeah, why does Harry Potter look like Grimace? They just start really Fortniting the whole thing. It's Wolverine on a broom.
The Five Nights at Freddy's crew.
Yeah, I'm excited, dude, because this is one that I was not going to buy, and I'm psyched that it is going to be one of the games that I could play through the service, and I'm excited to give it a shot. Like, I don't have like really high expectations for it, but yeah, I'm psyched. I'm psyched to try. I really loved the idea of it in the Harry Potter story. And I'm looking to see how they make that as a competitive, game type sport. So, what are some other fake sports that we could make games of? Like, we got Rocket League, we got Twisted Metal, both great things.
Well, I like that roller skate like arena game, the one where you go in circles and like you're shooting the balls and stuff. Yeah, that was kind of cool along those tracks.
Yeah, Rollerball. Remember those movies? Rollerball? That was those are great great stuff. So yeah, that's I don't know any other ones. Basketball? Can you make a game based on a 25-year-old middling comedy? But yeah, then MLB The Show, it's your classic baseball, and then Little Nightmares 2. Spooky, scary. Now we're getting into spooky season. So good month for PlayStation Plus. And then speaking of PlayStation, a new PlayStation console might not be too far off, according to rumors from Billy Bilkun. Now he's a reliable rumor guy. I've heard his name mentioned lots of times with regards to things, but he came out and said that he's seen the new PlayStation Pro. He's seen the what it looks like and what it's called and specs and stuff like that. So basically, he put out a image of a sketch of the PlayStation 5 Pro, and basically it looks like the regular PlayStation, a little bit smaller. It's a little slimmer. It's got some more lines. No disc is what he's seen. Now we don't know if that is for all of them or if it's just for this version, that there's no disc drive. I know they're selling. You could buy like attachable disc drives if you want to play disc games. So, not sure, but it's got 2 USB-C ports and a power button on the front, 3 black stripes in the middle. So, and he says he expects it to be announced during the first half of September. What do you think about this?
I don't have a lot of thoughts on this. Like, I'm seriously considering getting a console when GTA 6 comes out just to be able to play it before the PC release. That's just a question mark right now. But I think it's going to be so impossible to get a PS5 Pro because the people are just going to scalp them like they did every other console. And I'm sure they're not going to be so ahead of the numbers that they're going to even be available. Yeah, I don't know what this one's going to do. Either it's going to fail or it's going to be like what you said. It's not that different. It's not that much more of an upgrade. So, like, we don't know the full, like, specs yet. But there was, again, something leaked talking about what the specs of the thing were.
and it was like here I have it here 10% increase in high CPU frequency, and the GPU is said to enable faster rendering and higher quality ray tracing, powered by 33.5 teraflops. The standard PS5 offers 10.28 teraflops. So it says, however, a direct PS5 to PS5 Pro comparison would work out at about 10.28 versus 16 to 17 teraflops. So whatever that means, you want more teraflops. I get that. More teraflops. And then they also have PS5 Pro is said to have an upscaling anti-aliasing solution called PSSR, PlayStation Spectral Super Resolution Upscaling, and an AI accelerator. So, yeah, it's, I don't know. Is it enough of a step up that people that have PlayStation 5s are going to upgrade? I don't think so. But for someone like you looking at an entry into the current gen console market, it's probably the way to go. Depends on price, though.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, absolutely. We got to see what price is, and then like, I'm buying a console for one game essentially, and I need to know like, is it going to do anything for me? Is the game GTA 6 going to like perform better because of it, or look better because of it?
Yeah.
Or would I be wasting my time if I don't have like a $3,000 top of the line TV that's going to put out this thing
Absolutely.
at the best that it can do? Yeah.
Yeah, and that's the other thing. You absolutely want something that's going to process the 120 hertz, because we're finding that more and more games, that higher refresh rate and that sort of thing. So, yeah, so I don't know. We'll see what the price is. Maybe, we'll get Sony to send us a couple. We have to do reviews.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, well, the other thing, too, I wouldn't really want to be an early adopter on something like that, because what if there's just, like, a big fail rate packing all that power into such a small console?
True.
And
True.
You think that the Q&A testing would stop that from happening, but then again, this could be the next, like, launch Xbox 360, Red Rings of Death everywhere.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Who knows? By the way, I finished my first Spindrift, and it was delicious. It was lemon spiked Spindrift. This is kind of the day I'm having, where I need to drink multiple alcoholic beverages. And I just switched to this Bloodborne Tangerine. Much grosser. Way more grosser. And I'm like, what am I doing? This is disgusting. Moving on. Nintendo Direct. We just had a Nintendo Direct. It was like a partner showcase and an Indie World showcase. Total 40 minutes. I watched the full 40-minute thing, and I'm here to answer all your questions. So, first of all, no Switch 2. They came right out before that, said, we're not talking about Switch 2 tonight. And then no Hollow Knight Silk Song. So, right off the board, you're like, what else do they need to talk about? And I'll tell you. Tetris Forever. That was the big one. Were you a Tetris guy? Of course you were.
Yeah.
This one's got all the Tetrises. Tetris 2. I didn't even know there was a Tetris 2. Hatris. The hell's a Hatris? I don't know. But they showed all these Tetris games that you could play. And it looks pretty cool. And then it's also good. OG Tetris is also available on the Nintendo Entertainment System inside the online thing. Inside the console. But yeah, there weren't a ton of big announcements other than Tetris. But some interesting things. I would say nothing major, but interesting. Like the SpongeBob SquarePants Patrick Star game that my son asks me every day now, is this game out yet? And I'm like, he loves SpongeBob. But I was like, no, this is going to be a Christmas. You're going to get this for Christmas. Because it's more like a sandbox game. You just run around as Patrick and like do stuff in Bikini Bottom. He's very excited.
Yeah.
But yeah, then we got more information on the Capcom fighting collection, the Marvel versus Capcom collection. Was there anything that you that jumped out at you? What was the one? Date Everything?
Date Everything? Yeah. That one caught my eye a little bit.
Sure it did.
You can, I mean, it's these personifications of things in the game.
Anything.
Lamps. The text box that's on the screen.
I love lamp.
Yes. 100 dateable characters, so for somebody, that's going to scratch their niche real good. One that stood out to me, the only one on this list, because let's face it, 95% of this was Japanese RPG
Sure.
shotgun blast to the face.
Or
all
games
look
that have
like the
been
same damn
out.
game.
Right.
Yeah. Neva or Neva, I don't know how you say it. So this is from the people who made Gris. Yeah, it is a Limbo-like. I've seen the term to describe these, where it's a side scroller, but it's very, very atmospheric. Has like almost like these shadow beasts and silhouettes going on. It looks really cool, and I think if I'm to buy anything on this list, it's this game.
Yeah, I'm very much excited for that one. That one I think is going to be fantastic. That one we've seen before too, where it's like it's got that Neva, the beast with the horns, like there's this life cycle for it or something. I don't know. But yeah, that was a big one. I'm surprised you weren't really excited for Power Wash Simulator Shrek DLC, where you get to spray down the swamp.
Game yet.
Oh, yeah. You got to get in there before the Shrek DLC comes out. For me, a big one, Tales of Grace's F Remastered. Tales of Grace's F was one of my favorite in the Tales series, one of the best JRPG kind of things, where it's like, it's got couch co-op, dude, up to 4 players, and you're playing this role-playing game. So what me and my friends did in the original one, we all had a character, and in it, we just, we stuck with them through thick and thin. We can't change characters. This is your character. And now it's been announced for current gen consoles, comes out in January. I'm super excited to kind of relive that my glory days. So yeah, that one's exciting.
A couple that I figured were high on your list here. Balatro DLC, because I know you're really into the card games and Balatro specifically.
Yeah, dude. This got Among Us, Vampire Survivors, Dave the Diver, and The Witcher 3 all being added in some fashion. I don't know if it's just skins for the decks or what.
That's what I was wondering.
Yeah, I'm excited. Yeah, can't wait.
And then I figured you were into, let's see, it's not Pizza Tower, but have you seen that game, Pizza Tower? I think it's out on everything else, but it's just coming to Switch now.
I'm waiting. It's on my Steam wish list. I'm gonna get it at some point.
Gotcha. Yeah. I don't know what the other one was I had in mind. The Star Overdrive looked interesting, but it's also one of those games where I feel like I've seen stuff that's way too similar to really get hyped about this.
Absolutely, yeah, it is one of those. The Shadow dropped the Castlevania collection that day. It's got a bunch of Castlevania games, which is pretty cool. And then, yeah, like you said, a bunch of JRPGs. So it was a fun 40 minutes, a lot of cool indie stuff, and yeah, stuff I'm excited for. Morsels looks like a fever dream.
Wobbly Life. That's a bit like
Wobbly Life.
Gang Beasts and Humans Fall Flat.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, that fun like local co-op style game. So yeah, some fun games over there. They're keeping the Switch going, man. It's like you could tell it's like they're just hanging on, especially when like so many of these are games that have been out for a couple of years that are finally coming to the Switch. They're like, listen, whatever we could do to get, people still playing this system. So very cool. All right, next up, an announcement that I was so excited for when I heard this. Remedy and Annapurna announced a strategic cooperation agreement on Control 2 and bringing Control and Alan Wake to film and television. So this was cool. So basically what that means is that they're teaming up. The two studios, the video game studios and the television and film studio are teaming up. Annapurna is going to fund Control 2, the development of that, so they could get that out there, make it everything that they want to make it, especially being a sequel to one of the greatest games ever. And in turn, they get the ability to take the Control and Alan Wake franchises, and they're a shared universe. They are part of the same world, so they're going to make it TV shows or films or books or whatever. And it's such a great symbiotic relationship that I'm very, very happy. I love both of those studios, so this one, it made my day. I'm really excited for it.
Nice. I'm familiar-ish with Alan Wake. I've not played one, but we've talked about like the new release that came out a few months ago. Now, Control, is that the game where you kind of like, you're a detective or something, you're slowing down time, you're looking at reflections on stuff, or maybe I just saw like a ray tracing demo where it uses this game.
I mean, yeah, it sounds just like that. So it's this crazy, weird game where you go and you're a detective. You're exploring like what happened to your brother, and you're in this like this weird lab type thing, and you have these powers. It's like telekinesis, and you could throw giant blocks at these weird things that come out of nowhere, and you have guns, you have powers, dude. Play Control. You could get it real cheap. You get the definitive edition. There are 2 or 3 parts in that game that I will never like mention to anybody as far as like what it is, but there are probably 2 parts in that game that like changed, like that made me like have like a moment, and like, dude, such amazing parts. One part specifically where it's like this. It was amazing. It happened, and I like immediately texted my buddy who played the game. He was like, "Yes, yeah." It's such a great game. I'm excited for Control 2. And they said the development team is working full steam ahead on the game, and it shouldn't be too much longer. But yeah, very excited. Alan Wake is one that I downloaded on my PlayStation a couple weeks ago, and I never started it because I really want to, I want to play Alan Wake 2, but I figure I should play the first one, right? All right, and last up, GameStop is going retro. They just announced last week that, I'm assuming in an effort to continue to stay afloat, they're making some of their stores like retro stores where they sell, like they have a section that sells Wii's and Xbox 360s and all the games and stuff for that. Now I don't know. So there's a retro store locator. If you go to their website, you can put in your zip code and it'll tell you where. I have like 2 stores around me that are retro stores, and I haven't checked it out yet. I don't know how far along in this process they are. They just announced it like recently. But earlier today, I saw a Reddit post with someone saying this is the retro store part of my GameStop, and it was the saddest display of like retro games I've ever seen. So
yeah, that sucks.
Yeah, I don't know.
So yeah, this is one. I mean, I don't want to get us way too off track and drag this out forever, so I'll try to stay on topic here. But have you noticed this trend of like the retro game stores? Those are massive in my area. Like they are expanding because they are doing so well. It's retro games, and it's a lot of like the culture stuff, the nerd culture, gaming culture, comic books, everything. It's the one thing in the mall that people seem to think is still worth going to. Yeah. And it's anime culture, everything kind of under one hat. And GameStop does that to an extent. I really don't know what the disconnect there is, why people don't go to GameStop as much as these locally owned stores that are really blowing up. And I think the one factor is the retro gaming. These places have for years been buying like the old consoles, refurbishing them, having old games like Game Boy Advanced and further back than that available. And it seems to be that they're all doing good business. Every city around me, like within an hour range, has one of these, at least one of these. Some of them have multiple, and they seem to be doing very well. So it seems like GameStop is looking at the competition and looking at these places flourishing while they're like, should we sell cell phones now? And that was their big plan a year or 2 ago. And, I don't blame them for kind of copying the formula. The problem probably is that they have such limited old stock. They started a few years ago buying new stuff, and I think they were selling vintage games online. But there's a lot of pitfalls there. There's like reproduction cartridges, people bringing those in, and are they going to be buying vintage games from people? If not, how are they going to keep the stock up? Are they going to be upfront about selling reproduction cartridges? There's a lot of questions there, but also, there's an issue of hardware to play these games on. You can buy the DS game, but can you get your hands on a DS for less than, $150 for a used one? The cool thing about this might be that there are so many GameStops out there, more companies might have more incentive to make like new hardware. that can play more of these games and sell that out there, because there's sort of a network of GameStops, whereas before it's locally owned or mom and pops or small chains like Game Exchange that you would have to be trying to sell your stuff through.
Yeah, I'm really interested to see where this goes. If they're like, if it's going to be like those stores where you could go in, and I mean, it's all like the retro gaming. I mean, if you're talking early stuff, Nintendo, Super Nintendo, shit's so expensive right now. It's such a, the rarity of them is kind of, we're seeing more and more how rare some of this stuff has gotten as people have aged out and thrown away their consoles and stuff. We're getting, so yeah, it's interesting to see if they can compete and use that. Like, it's always the meme, like, someone will walk in now with a sealed Nintendo system and they're like, I'll give you $5 credit or whatever,
Right.
We'll see if that meme continues. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know if this is enough for them to continue to have, all these stores. But hopefully, they could figure it out.
They've got to do something to survive, because every GameStop I go into, it's usually a sad state of affairs.
Yeah, it really is. Between digital gaming and Amazon and I mean, and we're not even seeing physical media at the big box stores anymore. You would think that then that would translate well to GameStop, but I think that, I don't know if it's happened yet. I know Walmart is talking about they're not selling movies and CDs or something anymore, and Best Buy getting away from DVDs and some gaming. So yeah, I don't know what the future for physical media is in general, whether it's games or what. So it's tough for these stores right now, but yeah, we'll see. I'm gonna check out the retro one near me, and I will report back. We'll see see what they have in stock. Maybe I'll get a sweet I don't know, Wii U.
Oh,
that's the one I never had.
$300.
Yeah, exactly. It's interesting. It makes me feel so old when they talk about, we're doing retro gaming like Xbox 360. I'm like, God damn it! I'm like, it hurts, man. It hurts.
Yeah, that does not feel old to me either.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, honestly, I don't know about the viability of this whole thing. Now that we're talking about that, I don't know about the viability of the whole structure long term, because you're going to hit a wall when you get to those like consoles like Xbox One, where everybody just started buying mostly like digital. Right. There are no old games for those to
exactly.
resell.
Yeah, it's enough for in the short term. But yeah, you're right. Retro gaming will not be a thing at a certain point, especially when we're talking about, the PS5 Pro may not even have a disc drive. So
yeah, I mean, at least not in the same form that it is now. You'll have to go buy the digital version for the 15th time on your newest console because they didn't carry it over.
Yeah,
and on and on.
Yeah, it's weird, man. I don't know I was reading a thing on Reddit this week talking about it has to be. I don't want to like talk about it because I don't know the specifics, but it was like they were mandating that you had to be able to allowed to sell your digital games if you wanted to, like a digital marketplace, to be able to sell digital games. And I don't know what that means for purchasers or developers or what, or Steam.
I feel like it used to be that way on Steam. Like you could then gift your code that you've already assigned to your account. You could gift that to somebody because no longer wanted the game or you wanted to sell it or something.
Interesting. Yeah, I didn't know that. But yeah, so yeah, I don't know what that means. It's probably not good for us just because they will, make it so you have to, if you want to play it, you have to, do something like with an IP or log in with your email or something, They'll make it difficult to work, I'm sure. But yeah, I don't know. The future is scary. All right, but as for our present, we are out of here. You got anything else?
No, that was a nice long one to make up for our 2 weeks hiatus.
Exactly. Yeah, it felt good. It felt real good. All All right. Well, thanks so much for checking out this episode of Gaming News Weekly. Go to YouTube. Pop Culture Playground is the place you will find this show, among other things. Also, while you're at YouTube, go to GameFAQs, GameFAX. Subscribe to both those channels, and you'll have constant entertainment always and forever in your face. Also, go to anywhere podcasts are found, type in GNW. You'll see this podcast. Hit subscribe, and then every Monday on your way to work, you'll have us right there waiting to talk about video games to you. And then, yeah, check us out on TikTok. Now that I'm back from vacation, I got to put some more stuff on there. I haven't done, since we had no shows, I didn't want to like just I just want to put garbage out there. I thought about just putting some garbage out there, but I didn't. So I'm waiting for the good juicy bits, and I will put those up there. So go to TikTok, Gaming News Weekly, and follow us there. And then, yeah, I think that's all I got. So thanks so much. We'll see you next week. Bye.